We've all been there, right? You get that first real paycheck and you were just so excited.
You see that number, 2 grand. You earned it, and that feels amazing.
But then, you go check your bank account, and something's kind of off.
Yeah, that $2,000, it's way smaller now. So where did all that money go?
The answer's right there on your pay stub. Federal tax, state tax, Social Security, and Medicare.
But think of it this way. It's not a penalty. It's kind of like our subscription fee for civilization.
This money, it pays for our roads, our schools, even makes sure your favorite taco truck is safe. But here's the thing. There are different kinds of taxes for different kinds of money.
First up, income tax. That's the big one. It's a tax on the money you make from your job.
Then you've got sales tax. That's the extra bit you pay when you go shopping.
And if you invest, there's capital gains tax, a tax on the profits your money makes.
Okay, and then there are 2 other big ones pretty much everyone pays into.
Social Security. It's basically the government forcing you to save up for your retirement.
And Medicare is a health insurance tax, mainly for older folks and people with serious health issues. And then comes everyone's favorite part. Just kidding. It's filing your taxes. The funny thing is, the government knows what you owe, but they make you guess first.
So yeah, you guess what you owe, they check it, and if you're wrong, well, it's not great.
I know, taxes are annoying, but it's not all bad news, really.
It's interesting. Countries that charge more in taxes often have a better overall quality of life. So it all comes down to this. What's the right price for civilization?
Let's pull back the curtain on what your bank is really doing with your money. So you deposit some cash. You probably think it's just sitting there safe and sound, right? It's a cool image, but the reality, well, it's a lot more interesting and less mythical. No, seriously. By the time you've left the bank, your cash is already out the door. See, banks aren't in the storage business. They're financial matchmakers, connecting your money to people who need it. Okay, let's follow the journey of that $1,000 you just dropped off. Yeah, while you're at work, your money is out there having way more fun than you are. This whole thing has a name, and it's basically the engine of the entire banking system. All right, so here's your $1,000 going into the system. The bank only has to keep a tiny fraction, just in case you come back for it. The whole system is really just built on one single, simple bet that all of us won't ask for our money back at the exact same time. But, sometimes people do panic all at once. And that's a bank run. It's what happens when that one simple bet totally backfires. So if your money isn't really there, why on earth do you keep putting it there? Well, there are 3 really good reasons you're not stuffing cash under your mattress. First up, convenience. Try paying for your coffee with a giant bag of coins. Next, interest. It's like they're paying you a tiny rental fee for your cash. And reason 3, safety. This is the big one, the system's ultimate cheat code. In the US, the government basically guarantees your money is safe, up to this amount. It's a federal promise. Even if the bank fails, you get your money back, period. So remember, your bank isn't a vault. It's a lending machine with an insurance plan. So your money isn't just a number on a screen. It's an active part of the economy. Let's talk about the invisible force running your finances. It can be your best friend or your worst enemy. Picture this. You check your credit card bill. In that small purchase, it's huge now. The culprit is interest. Think of it like this. It's basically rent for using cash, and you can either pay it or collect it. So interest has 2 very different faces. Let's meet the first one, the one you don't want to know. This is where things get really messy. You're not just paying interest, but interest on the interest. Yeah, that 20% interest on your credit card, it turns a tiny debt into a raging financial fire. It's a slow burn that turns a tiny slip-up into a huge problem. Yep, like that burrito. But what if you were the one collecting that rent? Now interest becomes a cheat code for wealth. Imagine you're getting a 7% return. Your money isn't just growing, it's basically cloning itself for you. There's a cool shortcut for this, the rule of 72. At 7%, your money doubles about every 10 years. And this shows how time can turn your small, patient savings into a massive win. Seriously. So the key is knowing which side of the equation you're on. The strategy is actually pretty simple. It's the exact same force, just pointed in a different direction. It's either working for you or against you. Which brings everything back to this one single, powerful idea. The real choice is about who collects it. Is it going to be you or that? Let's talk about the invisible thief that's been quietly picking your pocket every single day. You finally open that bag of chips, and surprise, it's mostly just expensive flavored air. To add insult to injury, it cost you way more than you remember. Ouch. Well, congratulations. You've just had a run-in with a little thing called inflation. So what is it, really? Think of it as your money slowly losing its purchasing power. Yeah, your $100 is still $100. It just doesn't stretch as far anymore. All right, so who's to blame for this injustice? Let's round up the usual suspects. First up, you've got too much cash chasing way too few goods. A classic problem. It's basically a big auction. When everyone wants the same thing, the price just has to go up. Then you have supply chain hiccups. It just costs more to get stuff made and delivered. And for our final suspect, look in the mirror. Sometimes it's all in our heads. See, if we all expect prices to rise and buy now, we actually cause them to. Now, don't panic. A little bit of this is actually normal, even healthy for the economy. That magic number? About 2% a year. That's considered the sweet spot. But when it spikes, that's when your wallet really feels the burn, a total nightmare. Suddenly, your paycheck doesn't go as far and your savings start to, well, evaporate. So how do you stop your money from just vanishing into thin air? What's the game plan? While the government's main tool is kind of like giving the entire economy a cold shower, they do it by cranking up interest rates, which just means borrowing money gets way more expensive. If loans cost more, people and businesses spend less, and that's how you cool things down. So to sum it up, inflation means your money buys less, thanks to cash, costs, and psychology. Now that you get it, the only question left is, what are you going to do to patch the hole? So, let's talk about that word you keep hearing everywhere, recession. Picture this. You've got a job, your bills are paid, you're even planning a little trip. Then bam, all you see on the news is layoffs, and the stock market, it's tanking. And you're just left thinking, wait, what is even going on right now? Yup, you're feeling the start of something we call a recession. So what is it? Basically, it's when the whole economy shrinks for a sustained period. And by sustained, we mean at least 6 months. This isn't just a bad week. Okay, so why does this even happen? Well, think of the economy like a giant party. Every party has a cycle, right? The boom, the peak, the bust, and then the cleanup. And sometimes you get party crashers, things that just show up and ruin the vibe. Yeah, the mood just shifts. Suddenly, the DJ's only playing sad songs about corporate downsizing. So what's the real difference for you? Well, it's like living in two different worlds. Look, this is the painful reset. But, and this is important, it doesn't last forever. So who cleans up this mess? Enter the cleanup crew, trying to get things going again. Eventually, people start spending again. Businesses rebuild, and the whole thing starts to grow. It happens because, well, the party can't last forever. These resets hurt, but they're part of the cycle. So when you boil it all down, is a recession just the economy's inevitable, painful hangover? Picture this. You want a new phone. One secret number decides if you get a good deal or a terrible one.
So what's the deal with this number? It's kind of like your financial final boss.
Yeah, it's a super judgy algorithm. It remembers everything, even that late payment back in college.
Look, it's not about how rich you are. It's about trust. Lenders just want to know if they'll get their money back.
Or a totally soul-crushing interest rate on that new TV. So the big question is, how do you rank? The game is played on a scale from 300 to 850. Now, most of us are stuck somewhere in the middle. Below 580, that's a big red flag. And where you land on this board has huge real-world consequences for your money. So if you want to win, you gotta know the rules. Let's focus on the two most important ones. Okay, listen up. Rule number 1, your payment history is the absolute biggest deal. And rule 2, don't look too thirsty. Lenders like to see you using just a little of your credit. And here's the crazy part. You can be debt-free and still have a totally trash score. Because it's not about being good with money, it's about looking good with money. It's a performance. So yeah, the game is rigged, but guess what? You can learn to rig it back. There's a cheat code. And this isn't complicated. It's one simple action that affects the most important rule. Yep, that's it. This is the master key to the whole game. Seriously. So think of your score like a pet. If you ignore it, well, it's gonna make a mess of your life. But if you take care of it, that's the pet that's gonna help you get that dream house one day.
Okay, for a second, just think about the cash you have in your wallet. Why is this piece of paper worth something while this stick is just a stick?
I mean, one can get you coffee, the other just gets you weird looks from the barista.
Well, here's the wild truth. That dollar bill isn't technically real.
So why does it work? It's something called a social construct. Basically, it's an idea that only has value because we all agree it has value.
Think of it like a giant collective story we've all agreed to believe in.
First, we all accept it's worth something. Then, we trade it for actual stuff. That's it.
But a story this big needs someone to keep it going, right? So, who? Well, you've got the government printing it, the central banks regulating it, and you.
Every time you spend $1, you're casting a vote to keep the story alive.
Now, picture this. The government gets a little too excited with the printing press.
All that extra cash floods the system, and suddenly your money's value takes a nosedive.
Your savings account? Yeah, it basically turns into a pile of monopoly money.
On the other hand, if there's too little money, the whole economy just freezes up.
So, the crucial thing to get here is that the system isn't really built on paper.
It's built on our shared belief. It's 100% built on trust.
Which, of course, leads to the one big scary question. What happens when we stop believing?
All right, let's talk about the fight for your money. It's you against an enemy you can't even see. Picture this. Your bank account looks the same, but you can buy less stuff. Nope, you're not imagining it. Yeah, that force has a name. Inflation. It's basically a silent pickpocket for your wallet. So your cash, it's losing value every single day. Think of it as a guaranteed loss. Okay, so how do you actually fight back? You need to make your money grow faster than it shrinks. And the hero in this story? It's called investing. This is how you finally go on the attack. Basically, you're making your money get a job, so it's out there working for you. You're trading money today for more money tomorrow. Sounds better than your day job, huh? So, what's in the toolkit? Let's break down the main options you've got. First up, stocks. You're buying a tiny piece of a company. If they grow, your piece gets more valuable. Then there are bonds. With these, you're the bank. You loan out money and get paid back with interest. And funds? Think of them like a pre-packed shopping cart of stocks and bonds. It's way easier. Look, success here isn't about being a genius. It's really about being smart and patient. Right. It's about the power of time. Your money starts making its own money. That's the magic. Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room, risk. Yes, markets go up and down. But we need to think about risk differently. What's the real danger here? The true risk isn't a down market. It's the guaranteed loss you take by just doing nothing. So this completely flips the script. The question isn't if you can afford to invest. It's whether you can afford not to. Your whole financial future is riding on this. Ever wonder why some things are just wildly expensive? There's a secret rule, and we're going to crack it. Okay, so picture this. You're out shopping and you spot 2 handbags. One's a perfectly fine bag for $50. The other? $5,000. So why would anyone pay 100 times more for basically the same thing? Well, it's not about the leather or the zipper. The secret is an invisible ingredient. Yeah, we're going to call this little phenomenon shiny rock economics. All right, imagine you're on a walk and you just pick up a regular old rock. What's it worth? Pretty much nothing. It's just a rock. But what if that rock was, shiny and yellow? Yep, it's gold. Suddenly, its value goes through the roof. It's not just a rock anymore. But think about it. Is it really more useful than that other rock? Nope. It's only valuable because we all just kind of agree that it is. And that's the big idea here, perceived value. It's what we think something is worth. And this social agreement, it's literally the cheat code for getting rich. Just look at a master of this game. Let's call it the Steve Jobs method. It's a simple playbook. Make something useful, convince millions they need it, then pump it full of perceived value. And the result? Trillions of dollars. Not by making things, but by making value. But hey, this isn't just for tech geniuses or fancy brands. This idea is everywhere. I mean, think about doctors, lawyers, even your favorite brand of coffee. They're all in on it. What do they have in common? They offer something we've all agreed to pay a lot for. So look, this secret isn't just for them. Now, it's your new superpower. It really all boils down to this. Figure out how to create value, and you can make a lot of money. So now you know the secret. The real question is, what value will you create? Let's talk about your single most valuable asset. And trust me, it's not what you think. Okay, think about it. If you lost everything today, what's the one thing you could never get back? It's not your stuff. All of that is replaceable with a few clicks online. It's your time. The one thing nobody, and I mean nobody, can buy more of. Now, most of us are caught in a simple trap. You trade 1 hour of your life for money. It's a direct trade. Your life for cash. Let's be honest, it's not a great long-term deal. But the top earners, they're playing a different game. They found the cheat code. Yeah, they use skills and leverage. But the real power move, the big secret, investing. Because with investing, time becomes your superpower. It's more powerful than luck or even a huge salary. See, here's the thing. Real wealth isn't built in days. It's a long game, built over decades. This is where the magic happens. Your money doesn't just add up. It literally multiplies. It starts small. Your money makes a little more money, then that new money starts working for you too. And that is how regular people with regular jobs can quietly become millionaires over time. This number isn't some kind of fantasy. It's just math. It's the result of putting time on your side. These people didn't beat the system. They just read the instruction manual and used it as intended. So the bottom line is this. You have this asset and the clock is ticking right now. So you have to ask yourself, are your hours just working for your boss or are they working for you?
Please subscribe and like.